5, 4, 3, 2,
Manchester
1,
United have
0.
reached the promised land.
Yes, everybody, how are we all doing? It's Thursday, the 13th of October. Manchester United are back in action tonight at home for the first time in a long time. I swear it's been like a month or something since we played at Old Trafford. Anyway, Man United playing Omonia tonight after the 3-2 win away from home. We're going to hope for another win. And I'm going to run through. I did my predicted team yesterday. I covered the press conference and Erik Ten Hag saying we're going all out for victory. And I covered that in my predicted 11 video yesterday. We'll run through that predicted 11 a little bit later in the show. I'm going to be focusing on David Ornstein's comments first. The sort of comments that I want to be hearing. He was speaking in the latest episode of The Overlap over on Gary Neville's channel. It really is one of the best, if not the best, sort of panel football TV show, if you want to call it that, on the internet. I'm going to run through Ornstein's comments. What else are we going to be speaking about? We're going to be speaking about the Glazers and the idea that Manchester United and a 10 billion price tag. Where's that come from? Yeah, I'm going to run through that because it's a bit weird. We'll speak about Cristiano Ronaldo and that FA charge. Lots and lots and lots to discuss this morning. And of course, Erik Ten Hag is a big part of all of that. Good morning to all of you this morning. Here we got Ian. You're going to the game tonight. I'm green and gold, my man. You and Ian Senior. I'm going to call him Ian Senior, even though I know his name by now. But who else is down here in the comments? Ruman, Carl, good morning to you from New Zealand. Bob Holdick. Gungshi's there. How you doing, buddy? I need to get Gungshi like a special badge, like a unique badge. Gungshi and Alex, who just continue bringing in new members to the channel. It's fantastic. Helg on Wheels, Lawrence, Anna, I can see you there. Freddie, Brian, Charlie, Giles, Akil, Jordan, Ricky, Grant, Daisy. Woo! BK7 Fit. There's so many names. It's amazing. Good morning to all of you. And Josh, I can see you there too. And actually, I'm not sure. Sigmund's there. Man, the whole gang's here today. It must be because, I tell you what, this is a conversation that I definitely want to be having. It almost feels like it's part of the power shift. Things have been changing at Manchester United over the last, what is it? 12 to 16 months, there or thereabouts. I'm not just talking about new players coming in. I'm not just talking about new managers coming in. There's been a real energy shift against the Glazers. They've always been swimming upstream, but they are really swimming against the tide now. And these latest comments here from David Ornstein, I'm listening to, because you know full well that I try to pick and choose the headlines that I run with. I try to avoid using a story from the Star or the Sun or anything like that as a main headline, because I don't trust them. I don't really think you should trust them either. But when David Ornstein speaks, something just fell over. Something just fell over. Don't know. It's a sign. It's a sign. It's not a sign. It might be a sign. But when David Ornstein speaks, I listen. He's got extremely good sources in Manchester United. And I found this comment here that he spoke about on the overlap particularly interesting. Let's run through it together. This is exactly what David Ornstein said. I was told by people close to the club and the first team that if the players are going to turn on anyone this time, it's not going to be the manager. They're going to go above and they're going to throw executives under the bus. I don't know, but not Ten Hag. And it would signify a massive power shift. This is effectively this transition is what fans have been going through for the last, I don't know, couple of years, few years, really. Some fans got there a lot earlier than others. But managers were still sort of thrown under the bus, certainly by the players. The players have absolutely been throwing the manager under the bus for a good long time. It was before Ole Gunnar Solskjaer in. Everybody was complaining about the fact that Mourinho and his methods were too militaristic, if you want to call it that. And they wanted someone a bit softer. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer comes in. Oh, brilliant. Solskjaer's here. Look how great. And then it goes down the line. And then all of a sudden they start complaining that we need someone who's a bit more tactically astute. That's the problem. And then Solskjaer got sacked. And then Rangnick came in, a man who is absolutely tactically astute. Literally consider the godfather of gegenpressing. The manager that Tuchel and Klopp both learned from. And they didn't like him either. No, they didn't. And then he got thrown under the bus. The players didn't listen to his methods. And now we've got Erik Ten Hag. And in Erik Ten Hag, right? Is that one there? Yeah, that'll do. Erik Ten Hag is the best coach that we've had at this club since Fergie. Now, when we had Mourinho, I think Mourinho was a little bit over the hill for the Premier League. I always feared it. We always feared it. It was sort of like the unwritten, sort of the niggling thought at the back of your mind. You're like, please, Jose, just be peak Jose and stay there. And maybe it's a little bit unfair of me to say he was over the hill completely because obviously we finished second, won the Europa League and the League Cup. So he certainly had his successes. But in terms of long-term building at Manchester United, what Mourinho was doing was never long-term. That's not Mourinho. That's not how he works. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was a player who was learning on the job. And he had, I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was a good man motivator. I think the players wanted to play for him. But I don't particularly think the players particularly understood what it was exactly that Solskjaer wanted him to do until we were 1-0 down. And all of a sudden, that Solskjaer spirit came through. And that's where we saw the best of Solskjaer. And then, of course, Ralf Rangnick came in and it just never really worked, did it? As much as I think that Ralf Rangnick was a voice that we massively wasted. If we allowed him to come into this project, we would already have our football director. And I feel like we would, as a club, be in a far more stable position above Erik Ten Hag. But that's kind of by the by now, right? With Erik Ten Hag, we've got the best coach that these players have got the best coach that they've had in a long, long time. And we've seen it since day one, effectively, of the methods. And as a fan, I found it really refreshing. I found it really, really refreshing here. The fact that I've been able to sort of articulate to you what Ten Hag's style is. I'm going to release a video on Saturday morning, taking a look at Ten Hag's system, the 3-1-6 system, which happens when United are in possession, and how that changes from the 4-2-3-1. And I can explain that quite confidently to you. And I can show how we're using that in games and how that's really starting to change Manchester United. And that's down to this, man. The systems are clear. And the fact here that we're seeing that Manchester United's players, if shit hits the fan at any point, you know, and it might do. Like we've obviously had the City humiliation. We've lost against Sociedad. We've lost against Brighton and Brentford. It's not been a clean sailing. Clean sailing? It's not just been easy so far this season. And I'm sure there will be more speed bumps. But the idea that the players will, instead of turning their scorn towards the manager, will look above him is a power shift that we have needed for a while. Because that energy, if we can get the energy of the players now against the board, the executives, the Glazers, in the same way that shift has happened among the fan base. Because that shift has happened over the last couple of years. And it's getting more and more intense. And the fact that we are seeing a man here who we know we can trust, who we know is a good coach, who we know can take us to where we want to be, it's brilliant to see. It's brilliant to hear. And honestly, it's one of the best bits of one of the best things I've heard Ornstein say in a while. I can see down here that someone may well have been Santa in the comments. Let's have a look. Absolutely. Jesus, what the fuck? Warren's down here dropping in a 20 memberships. My God, I'm not even sure I can read all these names out. Let me go up here and see who was lucky enough to be gifted a membership by Warren. Sorry, some of the names have disappeared, but we've got Nanda Gopal. You've got one, Anthony Ganley, Lawanda, Stuart Morgan. You've got one too, Edward, Felix, Andrew, SK, Matt James, Israel, not the country, Jory, Melvin, Hannah, Rogerio. It's not Roger, it's Rogerio. Christopher Wilde, Adrian Wong, Marcus. Man, Warren. Everybody say big up to Warren. What a guy. What a dude. Warren, Gungshi, and Alex are like Ten Hag. Or maybe not Ten Hag. I'm Ten Hag. They're like Mitchell van der Gag and Steve McLaren. Someone's got to be Darren Fletcher, though. But look, big up to all of you. Andrew, what an absolute dude. I'm a 33-year-old bloke. You're never going to get me doing that on camera. Why would I? I wouldn't even do it at a game. My word. But look, I don't know. For me, this just puts a big smile on my face for the fact that this is coming from David Ornstein. This isn't coming from like Neil Custis or someone from the Star or anything. It's coming from David Ornstein. And that means that source is close to the club. And this is big news. And he deserves it, man. Erik Ten Hag deserves all the support of these players. Because I feel like from day one, he's been so clear with what he's trying to achieve at this club. I don't think he's diverted away from it. I think he's gained a lot of respect. I think Erik Ten Hag has gained a lot of respect from these players in the way that he's handled these losses. He's dropped Ronaldo. He's dropped Maguire. He's dropped Shaw. He's now dropped Sancho. He's dropped Rashford. He's dropped McTominay. He's made it clear, even if you're the captain, everybody there can be dropped and replaced. Doesn't matter who you are. Doesn't matter how many goals you scored in your club career. Doesn't matter if you're captain, if you're wearing the armband. Erik Ten Hag can and will drop you if necessary. And I think that's really, Alex is the word you're saying down there. Togetherness, again, when we speak in these sorts of terms, then we kind of revert to cliches. But we've been such a badly run club that we've not sort of been doing the cliches. And Ten Hag is a man who has clearly united these players more than they have been in a long time. And I think got these players believing that they can actually be a good team again. We've beaten Liverpool this season. We've beaten Arsenal this season. Our asses fell out at City away. I think that's the only way I can describe that. The players just didn't believe in themselves. And that lack of self-belief sort of made the team go inward. And all the things that we had seen in other games, we just didn't see in that game. It was really odd. But players are listening to his methods, understanding his methods, importantly, understanding his methods and buying into the concept. Because they've seen what he's done at Ajax as well. He's had success. And I'll tell you what, I think this quote is going to stand. I hope this quote stands a test of time. Because this will be like, what was the Fergie quote about knocking Liverpool off their perch when he came in? And it took him a hell of a long time to do it. But he did it. And I like to think that this is going to be one of those quotes that in a few years, hopefully, we'll look back on and say, remember that? When Erik Ten Hag came in and said that era's come to an end. And then United started improving as a football team. Hell yeah, man. I'm all aboard the Erik Ten Hag train. You'll remember back in, what was it? Back in October, I think it was, before Solskjaer got sacked. And I think we went into an international break. And that was when I did my videos. As when I did my first video looking at Ralf Rangnick. I said, look, that was before Solskjaer was sacked. And he got sacked to sit the game after the international break against Watford, didn't he? He was like, what the fucking hell was the point of wasting 2 weeks of our time? We should have sacked him at the start of the window. Break to give us opportunities to find a manager, but we didn't. But anyway, in that 2 week period, I did my video on Ralf Rangnick. I did my video on, I think I did one on Brendan Rodgers. I might have done one on Julian Lopetegui. I did it on a few of them to take a look at the options. And once Rangnick came in, I said, look, the clear path is there for Rangnick to come in and then Ten Hag to follow. And it's the path that United have done, which blew me away because I'm just used to my club just not being run properly. But Ten Hag was the correct and the smartest appointment that we could have made at that time. And it's working. It's not worked. We're still not even, I don't think we're in the top 4 at the moment. It's not worked, but it's working. And I think we're going to get there, man. We just have to make sure that we stick to this path. And as I said, that's why this, for me, carries so much power. The idea that the players are sort of buying into Ten Hag so much that they're going to start taking the same sort of stance that the fans are. That instead of pointing the finger towards the manager and saying, oh, maybe if we had someone else in here, he would do a better job. It's not about that. It's about that manager getting the right support he needs from above, which a manager at Manchester United has not had. Even Fergie didn't even have it. But Fergie was just such a genius that he managed to navigate that without that support, because that's what Fergie did. He was a one-off. Speaking of one-offs, Gungshi down, I mean, it's not one-off, but Gungshi is a one-off of a human being. Down here, gifting 10 memberships into the comments. What an absolute dude. Who are the 10 lucky ones this time? Let's find out. Sporting Future, Benson, you've got one. Duane Overmeyer. Anton, you've got one. Cody Campbell, you've got one too. Hickme, Nelly, Nels, Dylan, DP, not that DP, maybe. Everton, Thomas, you've got one. Look at that, absolute dons. Welcome aboard, and everybody say thank you very much to Gungshi. What an absolute don. Ian, you're saying, look, change takes time. Ten Hag is turning around the Titanic. Yeah, we haven't quite sunk yet, but it takes time, but progress is happening. I think the Bournemouth game and the reaction was the big turning point. I'm guessing you mean Brentford rather than Bournemouth, but I know the point you're trying to make. It was the reaction to that, wasn't it? It was a 4-0 where Ten Hag could have just like pulled the shotgun out, started spraying, threw the players under the bus in public and just dropped them all and blah, 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 blah. It seems like whatever happened behind the scenes, it worked. For the players being dropped, the response came. And to do that against Liverpool, how we did that at home, follow up by Southampton, Leicester, and then Arsenal, it was brilliant. And I tell you what, we were unlucky with the big break we had at that point in time. It was just the way it worked. International break and, of course, the Queen passing away. It meant that there was nearly a month between us playing Arsenal and then City away. I mean, City away was always going to be a bit of a time because of the international break, but we should have had Crystal Palace and Leeds in between. It was an unfortunate break, which really didn't work. Warren's down there saying that he's got to run. Look at that, coming in, Mother Teresa, making sure everyone's all right, and then going out and helping everybody else. Warren, what an absolute don, mate. Have a good day. Thank you very much, man. I mean, it's not even slightly true. He benched Maguire. He benched Shaw. He benched Ronaldo. Now, after the City game, he's benched McTominay. In between that, he's benched Sancho. He's taken Rashford out of the team as well. That's what a ridiculous comment. Yeah, man. It's just nice to see the club heading in the right direction. In a direction that I feel that we've got real clarity. Right? And I don't think we haven't been able to say that for a long, long time. Honestly, if you were asked to do a presentation for 10 minutes last season on what formation Ralph Rangnick uses and the football that he wanted to play, you could kind of, but it was a little bit, not really, because we chopped and changed from a 4-3-3 to a 4-2-2 to a 5-3-2 to a 4-4-2 diamond. He was trying everything to try and make it work, and it still didn't work. If you did it under Solskjaer, you would effectively put us in a 4-2-3-1 and said, look, we're just going to hit on the counter-attack. What do you do when you're in possession? I'm not really sure. We didn't really have a starter playing possession. I can articulate exactly what Erik Ten Hag is trying to do with this United team in possession, out of possession, runs off the ball. Tactically, I feel like I understand a million times more what this United team is now. And that must be transferring to the players as well. That must be what they're thinking. Like, shit me, I know what I'm supposed to be doing. The clarity of roles. It's a big thing in the workplace. If you're in your job and your boss tells you, I don't know, you're like the account executive, but doesn't really tell you what you're supposed to be doing. You're like, I mean, I know what my role is, but do I do this? Do I do that? And it doesn't really help you. Having like a proper clarity, having a job description written down point by point really allows you to focus on exactly what you need to do. And I think a player who's really benefited from that this year is Bruno Fernandes. I think Bruno Fernandes' performances are kind of going under the radar a little bit. I don't think he's doing... I said it in my match preview yesterday. I said, I don't think he's taken the limelight at Manchester United. I think other players are doing that at the moment, but I think Bruno's just keeping this team ticking over in a really good way. Dresden, maybe no one likes you. I'm joking. That was unfair. I don't know. It's just done automatically by YouTube. There's nothing you can do. What is the bloody point in this when Ten Hag isn't bothered about this? I have no idea what that comment means. I really have no idea. Let's go then. And I'm really a few more of your comments out here. Ten Hag's made it clear he's in charge and not the players. There is as I said, there's a big power shift. It feels like there's been a big power shift at United back towards the manager. Players at United have dominated for years and years and years now, and it feels like that's changing. And what you're saying down here, there's really a few more of your comments out. It's also about recognizing and utilizing the strengths of your staff. Exactly. And I think Ten Hag's doing that. That's when you've got clarity of roles, you can put people exactly where they need to be and take them away from where they shouldn't be. It's it like Victor Lindelof, for example, is a player who, alongside Harry Maguire, you're looking at them two as a partnership and you're going, fuck, they're both crap. But you take Maguire out of it, you give Lindelof the preseason that he needs, and you play him now alongside Martinez, and Lindelof looks like a good centre-back because Lindelof is a good centre-back. He's our third choice centre-back and should be. David, I don't disagree with that whatsoever. We need to be pressing. We're still in stage one of Ten Hag's overall vision of Manchester United. And at this moment in time, we don't have the ability to press from the front and press for 90 minutes. We don't have the fitness or I would say the awareness at this moment in time. That's going to take a lot. That's going to take longer than what we've seen so far. Dominating possession, I'd say that's starting to come. But we need to dominate possession with intent, if you know what I mean. We need to be able to break through teams and use that possession as an actual weapon rather than just wasting time passing it sideways. It's starting to come. And that's what I mean. I'm going to be doing a video on Saturday where I'm going to run through this 3-1-6 system, how it's progressed from the start of the preseason to where it is now, and how we're really starting to see the fundamentals come through. It's really, really important, I think so anyway. Lee, you're saying, look, the players haven't sulked. Look at Shaw and Lindelof. Sure, that performance there against Everton, it might be one of the best performances I've seen from Shaw in a United shirt. Everybody seems to be, no one's head down. Compare Rashford this season to Rashford last year, right? Rashford last season, we came into the season off the back of a break, and we were like, I think it was, unless I'm getting my seasons mixed up, off the back of the break after the surgery, like, and he didn't come back until November. We're like, yeah, Rashford's back. But I think he scored in the first couple of games. Then it started to go a little bit wrong, and then Rashford's head drops like that. And a big deal like that game against Everton. Rashford created that goal out of nothing through nothing but hard work. Ruled out by VAR ridiculously. And he's sort of like laughing it off. Like, what am I supposed to do then? What am I supposed to do? Last year, that might have got to him a bit more than it did in that occasion. Of course, maybe being 2-1 up in the 83rd minute helped. And there's other factors. But it just feels like the body language of the players is better. The body language of the squad is better. Just the body language of Manchester United as an overall team is better. And it's because of this, man. And there's a lot more to go. As I said, I'll be interested to know what you do this in the comments, right? As a percentage, how far along the process do you think Ten Hag feels this Manchester United team are currently playing? Say if 0 is nothing to do with Ten Hag and 100% this is perfect. This is exactly what I want this Manchester United team to do. It's absolutely perfect. As a percentage, where do you think Ten Hag feels this United team is at the moment? I'll be interested to know how far along the process you think we are. I think we've come a long way. I still think there is a long, long way to go, but we're definitely heading down that path. Let's see down here. Kevin, you're going as high as 60. Wow. Akil, you're saying 20, 25. Garlic Bread Man, you're saying 30. Samir, let's put that drink down, my friend. 55%, 40, 65, 45, 30. That's an interesting question, actually, I think. 5% says Jake. No more than 25, 25, 20, 25. I'll be honest. I'm trying to think. Let's see, 30 tops, 47. I'd probably go a generous 25. I think that would be a fair assessment of how far along the process Ten Hag feels this Manchester United team are. We're still not really pressing from the front. We're still not playing out from the back with the ball with confidence. Massive, massive confidence. We're seeing elements and factions of it, but we're not seeing it in the way that he did it at Ajax. So I'd say about 25%, I think, is a fair way to go. And look how good we feel. It's good. As I said at the start of the season, I don't think United are going to be a joke anymore. Obviously, the first 2 games happened and I got clipped up. But we're not joking anymore. We are heading in that right direction. But I think overall 25%. Now, what takes us from that 25% to the next 75%? The players really responding more to the coaching. Number one, us signing more players that help that percentage increase. We need our Frankie de Jong type signing to be that playmaker that receives the ball from deep. I'm going to speak about Frankie de Jong. Unlucky, Frankie. Hope you enjoy the Champions League group stages because y'all ain't seeing the knockouts. But look, as I said, it's nice. I think so. Johnny says, I work for a project manager that told me progress percentages meant nothing. Well, isn't that nice? Was he a nice manager? Was he not a nice manager? I don't know what else to use to sort of describe where the process is because we know where we want to be. Ultimately, 100% is Erik Ten Hag winning the treble with Manchester United. That's what he wants to do. Might not be able to achieve it. Of course, there's only one English team in history that's ever achieved it. That's the ultimate dream. And if that's 100%, how far are we away from that? Now, 25% might be a bit generous, but I think it's somewhere between 20 and 25%. And look, some people I reckon there'll be plenty of people in the comments that are going to say, look, Sam, don't hype Ten Hag up. We're still early in the season. It's only October. And I'll be like, look.
We're going to do it anyway. We're going to do it anyway. We're going to do it anyway. We're going to do it anyway.
Yes, Barry. Barry's come out of retirement. We haven't seen him in a while. But sometimes when Barry comes out, it's worth it. I need to get Sean Williamson's number. And that's actually Barry. I need to get Barry's number so he can organise the parade at the end of the season. Now, look. You get what I mean. I think the hype is deserved. There's so much more to go. No United fan feels this is complete. But it feels nice to trust an actual process, to trust the clarity of the manager, and to hear there from David Ornstein, no less, the fact that the players are also buying into it so much that if shit hits the fan, they're going to start pointing the fingers in the right direction towards the board, towards the executives, rather than Ten Hag, which is something they've needed to do for a long, long time. Rick, Big Barry, it has been a while. It has been a while. But look, there we go, mate. Could you imagine how did you release that? No, I'm not going to be releasing it. I should release one, though. We're going to do it anyway. That'd be quite funny. Maybe a little in-joke. Maybe a little limited release T-shirt. That's not a bad idea. I'll note that one down. Moving on to another important talking point, of course, is the Glazers still in Manchester United. And just a bit of a mad story that came out yesterday, which I want to run through now, right? It was a bit weird. Saw this story being released by, I think it's John Cross. I think it's John Cross from the Daily Star. The Glazers would consider selling Manchester United if a bid was made in excess of $10 billion. And you're like, what? Where has that come from? And genuinely, I wouldn't put it past the fact that this story has come from John Cross, the Daily Star, going, how much is Jim Ratcliffe worth? So I Google it. He's worth how much? He's worth like $10 billion. We should probably just, should we do a story saying that the Glazers won't sell unless go on then, 10 billion. It feels like that's kind of how the story went. 10 billion there for Jim Ratcliffe. The Glazers want 10 billion. They're not going to get fucking 10 billion. Remember, they bought Manchester United. I say they. The overall buying price of Manchester United was 700 million, 550 of which was from a loan. The Glazers have made an absolute bucket load off Manchester United. They've already got their original investment back and then some. So the idea that they're then going to ask for 10 billion is absolutely crazy. T down there with the absolute quote of quotes. You know, sometimes you see those quotes in the kitchen like live life, love, and all those crappy ones. This is kind of one. Success is when preparation meets opportunity, but it's one that I do agree with. Player I always relate that to is Anthony Elanga. Remember when we saw him like working hard during the preseason, getting absolutely shredded, took his opportunity when it came, and then Anthony Elanga sort of disappeared into the background now. How does that make sense? So they wanted 700 mil for. Obviously, we saw that with the public investment fund from Saudi Arabia. The story came out that they were willing to offer 700 million for 30%, which would, of course, value United in and around somewhere between £2 and £2.5 billion. God knows what that is in dollars these days. Probably double that. But look, you know the stupid thing about all of this. It is still going, John. The stupid thing about all of this, right, is why is anyone even talking about the value of Jim Ratcliffe? It's not Jim Ratcliffe who's going to buy Manchester United. If that was to happen, it will be Ineos. If Manchester United were bought, they will be bought by the Ineos group as a sports franchise asset, if you want to talk in pure business terms. And look at the revenues of Ineos last year. I think they might be able to afford Manchester United. So, yeah, there's just this idea here that it's worth 10 billion. That I swear that number's just been pulled out of the air. For the life of me, I don't actually know what the value of Manchester United would be. But whenever you're talking about Jim Ratcliffe and whether he's buying Manchester United, just remember that if hypothetically it was to happen, it's not Jim Ratcliffe who's buying us. It's Ineos. And Ineos, I watched that interview with Jim Ratcliffe, that Q&A session. Ineos they're doing like 3 or 4 projects at the moment. And the values, there's one going on in Germany that's worth about 5 billion. They've got a deal coming through with China at the moment that will make them the biggest, I think, chemicals business in the world. And they've got another construction project going on in the region of 4 to 6 billion. Wow, they're huge. The numbers there are absolutely staggering. The actual value of Manchester United, I don't particularly know. It's kind of the same as players. A player is only worth, or a player is worth, what a club is willing to pay for them, or what that club feels that player is worth. So it's my guess would be somewhere between 4 to 5 billion sterling. Would be my guess. Chelsea just got sold for 4 billion, but that included like a 1.5 billion pledge to invest in the team and the stadium. So that's probably what I think. In around about 4 to 5 billion. But bro, $10 billion? Hold up, mate. I swear he's just pulled that out of thin air. Speaking of pulling things out of thin air, look at that for a segue. Sigmund down here, Santa Judge, as he's known in the comments, down here gifting 5 memberships as well. It's absolutely raining memberships down here today. You just got to join in, but there's no. It's a Thursday before we play Omonia. There's no reason why today, but it's just that's what the community does, and the community is. It's fantastic. Who are the 5 lucky ones this time? Rob Caddick, Sagar, Christian, Connor Cassidy, Michael Sewell. Welcome aboard to the membership gang. Anybody who's joined as a member, anybody who hasn't already come in, look, make sure you join the community. It really is fantastic. I've got the merchandise that will be launching soon. Anybody who's joined as a member, go onto the YouTube community tab. There's a special link in there that you can join the members only group. And that's the only place you can get that link. I'm not going to share it anywhere else, because if it goes anywhere else, then, well, it kind of takes away from the fact that the members are members. And when the merchandise launches, there's going to be a big discount code for members only. Of course, it's something I've always been saying. I'm looking forward to it, man. I'm really looking forward to it. M. Lenosh watching from Indonesia. How you doing, buddy? T, you're saying it's outrageous. I was thinking they might let it go for 4.5 ballpark, but that figure alone states we're not for sale unless we're laughing. Kind of what Ajax did to us. I've tried to explain it in separate videos, and like the Glazers, I keep saying that Manchester United is not for sale. But what was it? In March 2021, Abraham Glazer sold 70 million worth of his own shares. Then in October, Kevin and Edward Glazer, they They converted their shares, their B shares to A shares, sold them on the open market for 166 million. The Glazers' ownership has diminished from 74% down to 69% over the last. That was up to October 2021. I don't know whether that's changed or not at the moment, but trust me, they are considering selling. Some of them are already cashing their chips in. Some aren't. The difficulty is there's 6 of them to deal with. It does make it more difficult. But Jim, man, Jim knows it's for sale. Jim absolutely knows it's for sale. Ricky, I'm aiming for the sort of beginning of November, right? That's what I'm aiming for. I'm really working on it. There's been a bit of a delay for something that I think is really going to take the quality up another level. Something I'm really excited about. So I'm delaying it by a couple of weeks. I want to make sure I get it right. Members only jackets. What, like Back to the Future jackets or like Grease T-Bird jackets? That'd be funny. Josh was saying, look, 1.5k watching. Come on, everyone. Drop a like on the video. It is free. It really does help the channel. Basically, what the likes do is it shows YouTube, okay, people enjoy this content. Maybe we'll show it to more people then. So that's it. A like might mean not much to you, but it does mean quite a lot to me, and it does mean a lot to the channel. It will open the doors for others to come in. So please, if you would, take 1 second out now and drop a like on the video. It does make a big, big difference. What else are you saying down here in the comments? They were in talks. Yeah, of course. Man, the Khashoggi situation. Fuck that. And I saw in the comments people are talking about, I don't really care. I don't really care who buys us. And I still to this day, I don't want us to be state-owned, man. I really don't want us to be state-owned. State ownership, I mean, technically Abramovich wasn't a state ownership, but it was effectively a gateway to it. And the oil money, you want to call it that, as if you want to call it that. Abramovich and the ownership there, that fucking screwed up everything in the Premier League. Everyone had to try and compete then, and the money just started going crazy from then. And then Man City coming in and just being a state-owned club. I don't want Manchester United to be that. I really, really don't. And that, again, is why Jim Ratcliffe is it's so different. Because I don't think there's going to be many individuals who, I don't think there really won't be, who can afford Manchester United in the same way that Ineos could. And the idea that he wants to use it as a community global asset rather than a financial, man, big up to him. Members only shin pads, that'd be hilarious. Jessica, nice to see you joining there. Let me know where you're watching from. Mate, what do you think the send-off for the Glazers will be like? I tell you, man, the parade that would happen in Manchester would be incredible. It would look like 99. And I don't, maybe, actually, no, sod that. It would look like 99. It'd be absolute mayhem. What you're saying down there, BK7, I appreciate that, man. Look, there's been a lot of growth over the last 12, 18 months or so. And I put a lot of graft into it. And I wake up thinking about work and I go to sleep thinking about work. But it's not just work for me. It's a bit more than that. And the community side of it is changed it for me. So I'm so glad I started doing these live videos because that's what's really, really made it a community. Kelso saying to see you live in LA. I'm off tomorrow for take it easy, buddy. I'm holding a straw. Why am I holding a straw? I have no idea. Let's quickly move on to a couple of talking points. There's still a couple of things we need to talk about. We've got news on Ronaldo. What else we've got news on? Speaking about Frankie de Jong. Speaking about Omonia tonight. Let's go on. Let's talk about it. As I said, make sure you drop a like on the video. This is from Ten Hag yesterday when Ten Hag said that Cristiano Ronaldo was going to challenge the FA charge. Is an update on that. A little bit lost in translation. Ronaldo has accepted the charge from the FA, but he won't accept a suspension. Obviously, this is all related to the Everton game last year, where Ronaldo was walking off and he slapped a phone out of a kid's hand. Don't know what he was doing, whether he was in his face, what he was saying, something you don't know the context. Shouldn't have slapped it out of his hand, but it shouldn't be a fine. No, it shouldn't be a suspension. It should be a fine. And I think that's effectively what he's saying. He's saying that a suspension would be disproportionate punishment to the fact that he knocked it out of his hand. And I actually agree with that. I don't think that will happen. But look, I'm not sure if you were watching the Champions League last night, because I was, even though we're not in it. And that game between Inter and Barca was balmy. I mean, you're going to be hard fought to find a better group stage game than that, because it was effectively knockout, wasn't it? Because Inter Milan knew that if they didn't lose that game, then there's 2 games left. And it means that Barca now need to beat Bayern. Effectively, they're out of the competition. And I tell you what, see you in the Europa League, Frankie. See you in the Europa League. You know what's going to happen. Well, actually, I hope it doesn't happen. Man United, at this moment in time, are finishing second in the Europa League group. The only way we finish top, and it's all in our hands, if we win our remaining 3 games, we are going to top the group. Chris, you've joined there as a member. Let me know where you're watching from, dude. Garlic Bread Man, we're going to run through the starting 11 just in a second here. I just want to have a little moment here to just have a little moment of silence for... No, not a moment of silence. Sod it. Frankie de Jong, bro. You made the wrong choice. I hope you enjoyed the 3 games that you thought you were in the Champions League, because you're out after 4. It's a shame, really. But maybe Barcelona will just like pull another lever and they'll get into the Champions League knockout stages. Ross, you're saying I want... sorry. Erik, man. Sorry. It's just... I don't know. It's quite nice to see. But I tell you what, watching him again yesterday, Frankie de... Oh. Sorry. That was a bit extreme. But the idea of Frankie de Jong in this United team, he's the missing piece, man. He really is the missing piece. Kind of pains me to see it. But, hey, man, Frankie made his bed. I hope it's worth it. Enjoy the Europa League. And you know full well that if we do finish second in the Europa League, you know full well that we're drawing Barca. That's the way it works. Either Barca or Ajax. One of the two, because Ajax got absolutely steamrolled again. Mate, how good are Napoli this year, by the way? Napoli lost what? They lost Koulibaly. They lost, was it Mertens as well? They lost like 2 or 3 key players. And they are, was it Raspadori? I can't even pronounce the other guy's name. It begins with K. They are nailing this. Napoli are definitely one of the most exciting teams to watch this year. If you ever get the chance, watch a Napoli game. I think you'd enjoy it. And saying what goes around comes around. Let's find out. But look, some good news, I think so, for tonight. You remember away from home against Omonia, we had chance after chance after chance, and their keeper made a few absolute scorching saves. Their keeper's out. Simon Peach here saying Omonia were training at Old Trafford yesterday, but they are without their injured goalkeeper, Fabiano. So Omonia are there, and they won't have their goalkeeper. And as I said, if we're looking at the man of the match for, even if they lost 3-2, he made like 4 or so, I think 3 or 4 very good saves. Now, I've been saying this for quite a long time, and I'll go out on a limb and I'll say it now. Again, at some point, it will click for Manchester United. And we're going to get a result that's like 4-5, 6-1, 6-0. Tonight feels like that night. I said it away at Omonia, and if we had taken our chances in Omonia, if the keeper hadn't had such a barnstorming game, it probably would have happened in Omonia. I think it's going to happen tonight. I feel that tonight's going to be the 4-1, the 5-1, the real statement win. And we need that. And we deserve that after the last couple of games. Now, I ran through my predicted 11 yesterday. And this is what I had down. I know the strange one I've got there is Malacia at right back. But Diogo Dalot needs rest, right? If we don't rest him when we can rest him, he will burn out. He will burn out. So Erik Ten Hag was questioned about, what happens in the fullback positions. And he said, look, Malacia can play there and Lindelof can play there. Now, you could see Varane starting alongside Martinez and then Lindelof going out to right back. We saw that earlier this season. But I personally think we'll see Malacia down there. That's just my guess. And I'm going for a midfield 3 of McTominay, Fred, and Bruno. That's giving Casemiro and Eriksen a ret. Not that they particularly need a ret. We haven't had too many games. But he needs this squad cooking. Brandon Williams could play right back. I mean, have we even seen Brandon Williams in a matchday squad? No, we haven't. I don't think we'll be seeing much of Brandon Williams this season at all. And Wan-Bissaka and Van der Beek are long-term injuries, according to Erik Ten Hag. Maguire will be back at some point soon. But I'm going to go for that. As I said, whether it's tonight, whether it's the week after against Sheriff, at some point, there will be a game where Manchester United win by 3, 4, 5 goals. And I'm hoping it's tonight. So my prediction for tonight is going to be 4-1. Given the fact that their best player from last week is out, their goalkeeper, and given the fact that Manchester United we've got that game against Everton was the most controlled, in a tough environment, that's the most controlled football we've played in a long time. 1-0 down away at Goodison Park is an environment where you can just collapse. where you can just fold in on yourself and get sucked in by the atmosphere and the players sort of shrivel. The opposite of what we did. We really took to it, and it was our best football. Now, I've gone for a front four there of Bruno in the middle with Sancho and Antony on the wings and Ronaldo up front. What's your prediction for the game tonight? You let me know in the comments. I'll read a few of them out. But I think, again, it's a bit of a gut instinct, if you want to call it. I think we'll see Malacia and Shaw as the two fullbacks with Delo getting a rest. But you could, as I said, you might see Lindelof as a right back with Varane starting as centre back. It depends whether or not Varane needs those extra minutes or whether resting and just letting that his ankle recover a little bit more would be more beneficial. And it strikes me that with a sprained ankle, it's just a tender situation. It's not as if he's like done a muscular ligament or anything. And it strikes me that he'll probably rest him. Andil, you're saying, no, Sam, you're wrong. We're keeping a clean sheet tonight. Maybe we are keeping a clean sheet tonight. Maybe we're going to see Dubravka make his debut. I mean, what's the point in signing him anyway? I have no idea. But look, let me go down there and read some of your predictions out. Anuj, you're going 3-1. 5-1 says Ashwin. 4-1. 4-0. Garnacho, Ronaldo, and Sancho. I would start. Nah, keep Antony in that team, man. Right now, Anthony's just, I don't know, like a motorbike is just slowly just going up the RPMs. I think Antony needs to play tonight. Take him off after 60, but I want Antony to keep getting more and more confident because he seems to be coming further and further out of his shell with every game that he plays. 5-0 says Stephen Anderson. 3-1, 4-2, 4-0. Ronaldo hat-trick. 3-0, 3-0, 6-2, 5-1, 4-1 tonight. Ant's going for the same one as me. 4-0, 6-0, 4-0 at half-time. Wouldn't that be nice? It'd be nice to be 4-0 up at half-time and we can make the changes rather than the other way around. I think that's what we need to do. Trust me, at some point it will click. And I think it had, in terms of chance creation the last two games, Everton and Omonia, it has clicked. We've created, I think we had 28 shots against Omonia. There's no way that game should have been as close as it was. Everton, there's no way that game should have been as close as it was. The amount of half chances we created, but at some point, the finishing will match the chance creation. And I'm backing that to be tonight. So I'm going for a 4-1 win. DP down there saying, look, good vibes. It is good vibes all around. I need to update the emojis on this channel, actually. Bring some new ones in for the members, maybe for the non-members as well. Lee Dyson, you're going for an absolute balmy game. 10 goals. No, thank you. Actually, 7-3. Sorry, I would take it. Who am I kidding? Lost 6-3 the other day. Could do with winning 7-3. But that is, that's my prediction for tonight. And that is what I think is going to happen with the result and the team. Mario. Let me know where you're watching from, buddy. Ross, you're saying, look, go 2-3 up early, then get the players off. I hope that's what we need tonight. In front of the home fans at Old Trafford, just go for the jugular straight away. Get 2 goals up within 20 minutes. Force them to come out, then just hit them on the counter-attack. Make it 3-0, 4-0 before half-time. Take Ronaldo off. Take Antony off. Make 5 subs. Bring a couple of youngsters on. Get Garnacho his first goal. You can see the story emerging, but it all depends on United going for the jugular straight away. We have to do that in front of the home crowd at Old Trafford. That's what I want to see anyway. Something that's quite important. It was announced this morning. Manchester United Supporters Trust threatening legal advice. They sent a legal letter to the Hammersmith and Fulham Council over the removal of 624 tickets from Manchester United's allocation. Now, it was they're basically blaming Manchester United fans and saying, look, you can't be trusted. And then they pulled up these numbers saying, look, an increased allocation doesn't necessarily mean that there's going to be an increased amount of trouble. It is effectively what Manchester United Supporters Trust are doing for all those fans that sort of book their travel and everything like that, and to know less than 2 weeks ahead. It's bullshit. It's not putting fans first. It's putting TVs first. It's putting councils first. It's not good for fans. So it sets a dangerous precedent. That's why Manchester United Supporters Trust are sending this legal letter and why I do think it is quite an important thing. So let's find out and see what goes from it. But hopefully it shouldn't happen too much more because it really does. It's just football without fans is nothing, they said when it was the COVID situation and the fans and the stadiums were empty. Now fans are back. Fans are getting treated second rate again. Make your mind up. But look, that was a wicked show. I enjoyed that. Thank you to Gungshi. Thank you to Warren. Thank you to Sigmund for all your gifted memberships. 35 new bad boys in here today. All of you Right now, go to the YouTube community tab. Go in there and there's a link to the community. It's a special members only link. Come in and we can have a conversation after this in there. I'll go in there for a look. Sorry, I'll go into the members only area for a little Q&A for a couple of minutes. I don't do that often. I need to start doing more of that stuff. But look, everybody joining in, I think tonight is going to be a game you're really going to enjoy. Don't miss it. Make sure you come here for my live match reaction after. I hope it clicks tonight, and I think it will. I really, really do. Take it easy. And big up Ten Hag.